Hey there, my name's Al. This is the introductory course to Maya 101. Very basic, hopefully bite-sized chunks that you can consume, digest, process, and then create. So before we get there, if you love all things 3D, please subscribe. If this is your first time in 3D software, first time in Maya, very basics, geared more towards younger audiences or really brand new to the industry. So first of all, why Maya? Maya is industry standard. Can Blender outdo Maya in many aspects? Yes. Today we're talking about Maya because if you're trying to land a job someday at a company, you're going to need to probably know how to use Maya. Now, granted, Pixar, DreamWorks, they use proprietary software anyways, so it doesn't really matter if that's your goal. Then go ahead, just use Blender. But many other studios, they're going to be using Maya in their pipeline. So that's what we're going to do. Very introductory kind of stuff. So I am on a Mac, but everything that I say, anytime, if I accidentally say Option, that's Option on a Mac, or Alt on a PC, but I'll probably go back and forth with my lingo, particularly with the Option key. That should be the only difference here. All right, so inside of Maya, we have our viewport, which is what we can see right here. And then mouse wheel. It's best if you have a 3-button mouse. I know that seems obvious, but remember, this is very introductory. So 3-button mouse, I can scroll in and out to zoom. And what we're gonna do right off the bat, that way we can play around with the controls. Take your mouse up here to this tab, and we wanna click poly modeling. And these are our primitives, and we will come back to these, but I just want you to drop in something. So when you click it, it populates in the center. And now we can actually see that it's zooming in, zooming out when I am scrolling up and down with the mouse wheel. So after this, if I hold Alt or Option, I am going to left click and drag, and you're going to be pressing Alt or Option all the time inside of Maya. So press Alt, left click and drag to rotate around your scene. Anytime I say scene, it's everything that I can see here. Like I said before, this window is my viewport. So technically this, what we're looking through, is a camera. We're gonna hide our outliner here. But if I hold Alt left click, we can rotate around. Alt middle mouse click and drag is how we're going to pan back and forth. And then Alt right click and drag up and down. This is how we are going to zoom in and out, and it's kind of like a fine-tuned zoom. So the mouse wheel, it kind of snaps. And if you would like more control, hold Alt, right click and drag, and it's this very fine-tuned zoom. All right, so up next, let's go back to our primitives. So from here, if I were to drop in a cube like I did, let's do another cube. So I pressed it, and it's going to populate right there. Currently, we have this white arrow selected. So this is just the select tool, all right? If I can left click outside of my mesh, it's deselected, left click my mesh to select. We're gonna skip these two for now. But right here, this is my move tool. At the very bottom, way down here, you can kind of see the little tooltip that pops up. On a PC, a little yellow box should pop up. But I click this is my move tool. And then you will see I have my little gizmo. So if I were to move, grab one of those arrows, I can left click and drag, and it's tied to that axis, and you'll actually see that other cube that I made there. Let's go ahead and clear those real quick. Drop in a brand new cube, talk about this gizmo. So I pressed this button. The hotkey is W on your keyboard. So Q will actually get us back to the arrow. W will take us to this move tool, or you can click this button. But when I grab this arrow, I cannot move in that direction, right? It's only locked and tied to this axis. Same thing with this one on the X, Y, and Z axis. If I were to grab somewhere in the middle, it's based on my camera view, so I can kind of freely move this around. Let's go down the list. This is rotate. Right below that is rotate, or E on my keyboard. So same thing, if I left click and drag over one of these rings, I am only rotating on this axis. Same with this one and this one. The blue ring on the outside, that's tied to my camera once again. Or if I want to do more of a free rotate, I can grab in between these rings. So like here, left click and drag. And then I get a free rotate. I typically will never use this, that's okay. Right below that is our scale tool, and that is R on your keyboard. So if I grab this blue cube over here, I'm scaling on this axis, scale on this axis, or maybe I want to do this axis. Left click and drag these little cubes, or this axis. Now to scale uniformly, I can grab the one in the middle, and it's basically making my shape smaller or larger in all axes. Easy peasy. So as a refresher, we have Q, that's our select. That's our arrow. W for our move tool, E for rotate, and R to scale. So Q, W, E, R. Super helpful. Let's drop in another shape. I'm going to drop in a sphere. And remember, it's going to cover up my cube. So what I'm going to do is select, left click my sphere, press W, and scooch it over. So now, if I wanted to grab this cube, I can left click and adjust this one. Let's drop in one more shape just for fun. And what I'm going to do just for practice is I'm going to move, rotate, and scale each of these. So W to move. We're going to scooch this over. I'm going to press rotate, and I'm going to scale like that. Let's test with the cube. Let's move it. Let's rotate this, and let's scale it. Same thing with the sphere. We're moving it, pressing E, rotating it, and we can press R to scale. That is basic primitives. We have many primitives here, and the basic navigation of my scene. Thanks for sticking around for the video. If this was helpful to you, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.